Hey guys, this is Group 9. For our journal, our dojo, we decided to look at verse Luke 9:23, which says, "Then he said to them all, whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves and take up their cross daily and follow me." We looked at what it means to take up our cross daily. Some of us journaled writtenly every single day, and since some of us decided to do video journals, we thought we'd put one big video journal together to show you what we've learned.
So when we started this Life Lab, we decided to do daily journals, decided to take up the task of writing down or video journaling every single day. I was really excited, really pumped about it. Thought that this was going to be a really life-giving, life-changing experience. And I started off really strong. Started off journaling every day, and then it didn't go quite as well after a little bit. I started having struggle pushing myself through and making sure that I was doing my journals every day. And I'd do some occasionally, and they were spotty, and some of them were good, some of them were like 2 sentences. But it was not a complete failure. I learned a lot, not in the way that I expected to though. I learned that I'm not a person that fits into journaling. I don't like sitting at a desk with a lamp and just writing about my day and taking the time to be very introspective. The way that I like to reflect on my days is by coming back to my room in the evenings and talking to my friends and telling them stories of my day, good, bad, ugly, getting their opinions and getting their thoughts on my day and hearing about their days, and just being a very people person and being a very social person. I've learned that sitting and journaling and being alone is not the way that I reflect best, and I reflect with interaction with other people.
Hi, my name's Beth Ann. So when we were picking our verse at the beginning of the semester, we decided we were going to journal on Jesus' call to discipleship, on his call to deny yourself, take up your cross, and follow me. I was struggling. I was not getting past the technicality of the verse. I'd done Bible studies on this verse before, and so a lot of my journaling was just, what I had learned, what Jesus was saying here, but I was not making the connection to my life. Until about halfway through the semester, when Dr. Lavender kind of went into, as a Christian, this call for us to pour ourselves out in love on other people, and the way that Jesus did that for us on the cross. And I saw a lot of connection between the call to deny myself and the call to pour myself out for others. And when I started making that connection, I started seeing places where God was really calling me to pour myself out on someone. There were a lot of people I knew that I care a lot about who were really struggling and suffering. And so I think I was put in situations where I could put this into practice and say, I'm going to deny myself, pour my love and concern out on you, and allow God to work through me. And there were places in this semester where I needed that too, and there were people who showed me how to love like that in the way that they loved me, because they were pouring their love and care and concern out on me and teaching me at the same time. And so I think that's the biggest takeaway for me from this Life Lab, is what it really means to deny myself. And so that was something that I spent an inordinate amount of time on this whole semester, learning what it means to deny myself so then I can take up my cross and follow Jesus.
Hi class, my name is Brent, and for our dojo in Faith and Culture, we did a journal each day about carrying your cross. So for all of us that looked a little bit different, but for me personally, I think the biggest thing I got out of this dojo and this experiment was definitely just being more intentional about going through my day and just observing people in need, people that just needed a little comfort, people that just needed a little positivity. And I just tried to be a light for those people. I just tried to embody the teachings of Jesus that we learn in the Bible about just being a servant to others and trying to do my best to help in any way I could, easing their pain or easing their anxiety, whatever it may be. But it was a really rewarding experience. It's one that I think I'll look upon later in life and realize how valuable it was. I still try to wake up with the same mentality every day, just knowing that I'm really living for a much higher purpose than myself. And it's all about just being with God's creation all over earth and just experiencing and doing life with people and understanding that every single person on this earth has a purpose and was created for a purpose that only God can really tell us about. So I just had an awesome time doing this experiment. I certainly learned a lot. I was very intentional about recognizing my different thoughts and experiences, and it was just a really exciting thing to be able to do. So I'm very grateful for the experiment, and I just hope to continue to live this way. It was awesome.
Okay, so the concept of taking up your cross daily and following Jesus was something that really interested me, because it just sounds like something, like a good Christian would do. So I was really excited to explore that idea and what that might mean, and how it would actually look in my life. And so the first couple of weeks, or the first week or so, I was really enthusiastic about it and loved doing my daily journals. But after a while, it sort of kind of lost its shine, and I started realizing that it was more difficult than I thought it would be. And it sounds so simple, because it's just taking a few minutes out of your day to reflect and write down in your journal, and just reflect on how you're integrating your faith into your daily life. And for some reason that was even difficult for me. So kind of towards the middle, I just realized that most days that the act of doing the journal itself was me dying to myself and taking up my cross to follow Jesus, because just doing that and resisting the urge to procrastinate and sort of shut off my mind and shut off the rest of the world and just sit in front of Netflix or whatever and vegetate and just kind of check out, having to resist the urge and actually reflect on my life and what my faith actually means to me, was something that was really helpful to me. And so I eventually found that the daily reflection was a positive influence in my life. Even though it was very difficult and took a lot of energy out of me, I found that it ultimately was something that was good, because I was able to actually process through everything that was happening that day, and able to find just ways to integrate my faith into even the little things. And it's not always just going up and talking to a stranger, which is something that's hard for me to do, but something as simple as getting up and getting out of bed when all I want to do is just lay there, just taking up your cross and dying to yourself and doing what you were actually created to do. That turned out to be a positive influence in my life, and I'm glad that I did it.
So my name's Lucas Segraves, and our dojo experience, the journal we did, came at an interesting time for me. This semester's been way different than the past few semesters for a lot of different reasons. There's just been a lot of changes, both positive and negative, but I think even with good changes that happen, there's a lot of worry and stress that comes with that. So for me, reflecting on what it meant to take up your cross daily was a good way for me to remind myself and kind of center myself. And what I mean by that is, when you have a relationship with God and you're reflecting on the mercy and the love that He offers you, those aren't things that can be taken away by anything you do or have happen to you. So it really puts in perspective, if you have negative things happening to you, they can only be so bad. And that's not to say we don't care about them at all, because there are important things that are happening in our life. But things can only be so bad. And it also happens with the positive. You can't put all your faith in these good things happening to you and just chase these fleeting positive experiences. So throughout this semester, it was really a great experience for me, because in the midst of really, it was a lot of turmoil and a lot of just different things happening. It gave me a place to reflect, or a place to center, and a place to remind myself of when we take up our cross, it is really, it's almost a burden, but it's really not, because it offers you that peace and that joy. And even though from the worldly perspective it's you giving up so much, you're really gaining things that can't be taken away from you. So it was a great positive experience for me.
Hi, my name is Sally, and I've really enjoyed the whole concept of doing this dojo experience. I think it's really compelling to think of living out the life of Jesus as the best apologetic. And I think the biggest thing for me with our project of focusing on taking up our cross and denying ourselves and following Jesus has been just the added awareness, and like Dr. Lavender was saying, the intentionality of having something on your mind that you are focusing on and trying to live out in your daily life. And our journaling that our group did each day as our kind of practical way of reflecting on that wasn't a super added thing for me, because I already have journaled pretty consistently, but it did add a kind of new detail element to my journaling, I think. And I will say that I had a lot of moments with this project where I did kind of have this teaching in the back of my mind, and I feel like the Spirit used it to kind of speak to me, to push me towards maybe making a decision that I wouldn't have wanted to make in my own selfishness. And I think that this did show me that it does feel good and it feels right to deny yourself and to serve others rather than serving yourself selfishly. And even though in the moment it kind of feels like you're giving up your control of something that you're not losing anything, you're really just replacing that control with the joy of getting to put someone else first, and that really feels like what we're made to do. So that really affected me, and I'm sure I'll take that into the rest of my life.
Throughout this daily video journal dojo, I found it very, very difficult to stay with it the entire semester. I found myself doing it sometime and then not doing it, and I would go maybe a week without doing a daily video journal. But I did find differences in journaling at the beginning of the day and at the end of the day. When I would journal at the beginning of the day, I found myself being focused right from the get-go, saying, hey, I'm gonna take up my cross today, I'm gonna have a positive outlook today, and I'm gonna follow Jesus today. When I would journal at the end of the day, I was able to reflect on the day, see what happened in my day, and I was like, hey, that's a pretty cool thing. I see God working even in all of my daily occurrences. Something that I know I have to be more conscious of during my day, and something that I try to do, is be positive. Through this journaling, I was able to see the positive aspects by looking at reflecting at the end of the day, and also being positive going into the day. Being positive is so huge. Jesus doesn't say that our stories are going to be easy, our lives are going to be easy. They're all going to come with setbacks, and every setback is going to be a challenge and an opportunity for you to grow. Every setback is an opportunity for you to look at it with a good perspective, with a good mindset, and be positive. And that's what I was able to learn, and that's my takeaway. Just be positive, take up your cross, reflect God, reflect greatness.